G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing on this lovely evening? Just cruising and bruising around as we do. And I thought of another lovely topic, talking about how just yesterday I was saying how getting Honda Rebel videos are getting a little long on the tooth, but it did make me think of one thing. Now this does apply to any small sort of motorcycle, but we are going to talk about the Honda Rebel specifically for this video. And ladies and gents, that is, will you outgrow the Honda Rebel 500? Alright, it's a common question that gets asked, but before we get into it, g'day ladies and gents, my name is Nathan. I make videos about motorcycles and motorcycle related content. If you like my stuff, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. You know, YouTubery things. We're trying to hit that 10,000, baby. Help a brother out. I don't know what the hell this person stopped in the middle of the road for over there. That's a strange dilemma over there, but you know, we're not going that way. I don't care what the hell's going on over there. I'm cruising over here. But ladies and gents, the Honda Rebel 500, will you outgrow it? Yes, I know the Honda Rebel comes in 3 different flavors these days. You got the 300, the 500, and the 1100. So obviously you're going to outgrow the 300. You're probably asking about the 500 and the 1100. It's hard to outgrow the 1100. All right, the 1100 is a whole different, you know, kettle of fish and all that goodness. But my experience lies with this one. We don't get the 300 in Australia anyway, probably because it's not fast enough for the daily ride here. But the 1100, if you can't really outgrow that one, look, you can say you want more, but you can't really outgrow 100 horsepower. You know what I mean? Most people. So 500. She's got about just shy of 50 horsepower. I don't know what that is in kilowatts, because I don't understand. I like horsepower more than I like kilowatts, alright? She's got about 50 newton meters of torque, and depending on where you live in the world, she's a bit of a subjective thing, okay? She's either going to be perfect or just not enough. Now, for most of us, the Honda Rebel is not really a bike you can legally outgrow. It does everything you want it to do quite comfortably. She's got great fuel economy, plenty of power for your normal riding. Depending on what kind of areas you live in, I can understand where the argument goes. If you're a real commuter, city person, in a suburb kind of guy, mate, you're never outgrowing a Honda Rebel 500. The 1100 will do just fine, but the 500, oh mate, it's going to be beautiful in those inner suburbs and city areas, I can assure you. The 300 even, if you're just purely city riding, the 300, you know what, I would argue that the 300 can even do just fine in the inner suburbs and city riding, but if you're doing more of your cross countries, your bigger tours, your more highway riding, that is where I say you can make the argument for if the Honda Rebel isn't big enough of a bike for you. She lack a little bit of that oomph, as if you were. And I can understand, because look, the Honda Rebel, she's not the biggest bike out there. She's not the torquiest bike out there. She's not the fastest bike out there, but she does the job, okay? And that's the best way to say it. She's a workhorse of a motorcycle. She's not great at anything except being a beginner bike, but she does everything fantastically well, okay? Now, I've done 31,518 kilometers on this bike since I bought it brand new, okay? So it's probably just over, 31,500 in total. It probably would have had like 18 kilometers on it or something when I bought the damn thing, but I can assure you, there have been times where I ride it and I'm going, I wish that she just had just that little bit more oomph in the tank. Just that little bit more arm ripping socket, you know, kind of power. But she doesn't. And she never will. She's got that little CBR 500 sporty engine, you know what I mean? So she's got the heart in the wrong place. But if you're doing a lot of lane filtering, a lot of traffic, a lot of, you know, annoying sort of busy kind of riding, I can assure you that this bike will not get away from you. She will do everything that you need it to do, because it's small, it's light, it's nimble. It can lane filter. She can do everything but speed, basically. Now, obviously, she can break the law, but the top speed of this bike is about 171 kilometers an hour, so that's just, what's that? Just over 100 miles an hour. And look, you're never going to realistically go 100 miles an hour legally anyway, so like I said, legally, you're not going to outgrow this bike. Now, I know some places, as I get informed, like Texas, where they go on 80, 90 miles an hour on the freeway. If that's where you live, and that's the kind of riding you were doing, I would say the 500's going to get a little long in the tooth very early. You're probably going to want to upgrade to the 1100. Now, the 1100 is actually got a slower top speed from the factory than this bike does, purely because of the governor on it. I think it's restricted to 100 miles an hour on the dot, whereas this one can go like 105, 106 miles an hour. Now, if you de-restrict it, obviously, she can go a bit faster. The difference being, though, at those higher speeds, this bike's going to be struggling significantly more than the 1100. The 1100's got the engine that can handle it. So you're not going to be going, oh my lord, I'm just crying to get out these extra little bit of ponies out of this engine. She just won't do it, and you go, yeah, I know, but just keep going, please. Whereas the 1100's like, I got engine for this, so I'm made for this. Now, it's still not going to be going much faster than that, but she's not going to be, screaming at that speed like a Honda Rebel does. At least the 500, my bad. In this argument, Honda Rebel applies to all of them. So look, dude, if you're going to be doing a lot of those bigger sort of rides at those higher speeds that you typically do see, say, in America, or even if you're living in Germany on the Autobahn, maybe the Honda Rebel 500 is not for you. You're probably going to outgrow. But if you're doing a lot more of the inner, town riding, and you're not really planning on taking it out, if you have to do the occasional once every month, maybe, you can get away with the Honda Rebel 500. I've done plenty of big trips on this thing but remember, in Victoria, the highest speed limit is 110 kilometers an hour legally. Yes, the bike can do more, and she can hold them for quite a good time. But if you're just following the law, guess what? This has enough up and boogie for it. But in some states of America where they average the higher speed limit, I can assure you that you're going to know that a bike of this caliber, she's going to start to feel a little sluggish, like she's fallen behind, you know what I mean? And it's not me talking down or ill upon the Rebel 500. She's phenomenal for what she was built for, right? She's a perfect beginner bike. She's a perfect commuter bike. Anything other than that, I mean, the line of it being a cruiser is a bit of a blurred definition there. Like we've said before, the cruiser definition is a little exaggerated. She's not really a cruiser. She's like a hybrid naked with a cruiser look, She's a less comfortable naked bike with a cruiser aesthetic. That's how one would describe the Rebel 500, okay? Let's go over this abhorrently terrible road. And let's boogie. So, if you're doing a lot of this kind of riding like I'm doing in today's video, where it's, more local suburbs, down these side streets, this bike will do everything you need it to do and then some, alright? Now, I haven't got it stupidly loud either. I haven't got the headers changed or the cat removed. I've just got a slip-on exhaust because I don't like my bikes being too ridiculously loud. But she does the job. She looks good, she's light, easy to park, easy to walk around, she's got a low seat height, so you're not really going to outgrow it if this is purely the environment you're riding in. But like I said, if you're doing bigger trips and you're planning on taking it across the country and your speed limits are higher than, say, like 130 kilometers an hour, if they're like even at 130, this bike can do it. And I think after that's when she starts to really struggle, you know what I mean? So if you're doing 150 kilometers an hour for long stints, that's when this bike's going to start running into that fact that it has no power to overtake people. I think there's up to like 110, 20, it really has enough, but after that it starts to really notice that, hey man, mayhaps this bike does not have the biggest power plant known to man, and I am starting to feel the lack of engine. Now, like I said before, it's not a bad thing, right? There's nothing against this motorcycle. She's got plenty of pep in the step. She can get up and boogie. She knows what she's built for, and you have to respect what it's built for, alright? It's not a race bike. It's not built for stupidly high speeds. It's not a stupidly torquey bike. It's a small little nimble cruiser that's good for ripping up twisties and going to and from the town. And it's got the small little peppy sports bike engine from the CBR 500. Sure, they say it's tuned a little bit for torque, but after riding both of them, you don't really feel it that much, to be honest. But it's there, supposedly. But treat it as it is. Respect what the machine is built for, and you'll understand very quickly what the benefits lie. Like when Eric rode this bike and I rode the Harley, he had a ball on it. He goes, look, it's a great little bike. It's not like for a cruiser, it's not that slow, let's be honest. There are slower cruisers. He goes, for what it is, it's a great little ripper bike. It's got good little handling, which for a cruiser bike is unheard of. Cruisers don't normally have handling. Good little commuter. She's skinny, good for lane filtering, and it's a great bike. She's just not a fast bike, okay? So just keep that in mind. So I've seen some people make some assumptions thinking that you only need to buy the fastest bike known to man. Now that's just a stupid way of looking at riding. You don't need to buy the fastest, most expensive, highest horsepower motorcycle to enjoy yourself. In fact, like we say, a lot of the time, some of the best rides you'll ever have are on smaller engines, smaller CC capacity bikes, You don't need to have the fastest. You don't need an S1000 RR to have fun. You don't need to watch Thor Tankin and be like, oh, he has a H2 and an R6 and an R1 and or he had an R1, or I think, and the S1000, the V4R. I wish that they made more smaller V4s, because V4s are delicious engines, but guess what? You don't need them to have fun. In fact, when you watch his videos, the most fun he has is on his R6. Sure, the other bikes are nice and all, but Where the hell are you going to use a bike with 220 horsepower, man? Australia, you'll just turn the bike on the highway patrol, just be out front bloody smacking you going, excuse me sir, that bike's exhaust is illegal, you don't want that, stop it, being naughty. And you go, oh, it's a damn shame. So that's all I really wanted to tell you guys. The Honda Rebel, like I said, she's a great little bike. She does everything you want it to do, and then some. Just don't over expect what the bike can offer to you, because she's not the fastest, she's not the slowest, but she's a good little all-rounder, and just respect her for what she is. And I can assure you, if you start doing that, you will have a lot more fun on said motorcycle, because it's just nice. I'm going to see if I can sneak the front here. This is a long wait in this line. Of course, it starts going green the moment I do this. Come on, cars, put that pedal down. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all I had to get off my chest and speak about this bike. I love it, but I'm a little over it because I like to have a little bit more torque in my acceleration. But that's because I've ridden a lot of bikes and I've experienced enough, and I just want something else, you know. It's not because it's bad by any means. It's just because I've done it a long time. I just want more. I'm the one who's getting greedy, not the bike failing me. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, ladies and gents, that's all I have to talk about today. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Take it easy. Keep it cheesy. Leave your own thoughts and opinions down below, as always. You know I love you, but it is time to leave you. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye!